What's happening? Today I'm going to do a topic of a question that really sort of hits hard when you really think about it, and it's the title of today's video. Obviously, it's what if happiness is the absence of worry. I'm going to go sort of through all the points of sort of what happiness is, sometimes how people look at happiness, and then sort of how we may be looking at it wrongly, and we're worrying too much about things that don't need to be worried about. So if we redefine happiness, we're told that happiness is something that we have to earn. So we spend our whole life chasing the big wins. So we've discussed before sort of the meaningful little wins where we can sort of be appreciative of achieving them. But the way that we feel peak happiness now, it's sort of like we have to chase these biggest wins to get ultimate satisfaction. It's the question of, once I get there, I'll be happy, which isn't the case, because there's always something higher to achieve. Maybe we're sort of misunderstanding and misinterpreting what happiness actually is, and maybe it's sort of not about gaining as much. It's more so of, can I let go? Worry is sort of, it's the background noise in our mind, and it also tells us sort of this moment right now isn't enough. And we know, we've discussed it before, it is. It's just how we sort of think about it. And if we're worrying, then we're always going to be telling ourselves, no, this is not enough for me. We sort of need to be more present and sort of go and just sort of looking ourselves, instead of thinking, oh, something could go wrong here, because that's what we're doing. We're not living anymore. We're living, and we're surviving on a loop. We're surviving on a loop where we go, am I happy, and is something going to go wrong, instead of sort of just being present. When that noise, that background noise in our mind fades, that's when we have ultimate peace and presence of our life. And what that feeling is happiness. The simple moments feel better when there's no worry. So we think we need to be more happy, which is like, what do you mean more happy? And how we need to sort of look at it is, these basic moments, they feel more joyful when the mind is calm and at peace with itself. There's no fear of what's going to happen in the future, and we also don't carry any weight of the past thinking like this. It's when the ordinary becomes extraordinary. And in these moments, we stop worrying. Happiness is also the baseline of our human state, and it's not the peak. It's our natural state of being, and naturally we're happy until the worry comes in. You think when you was younger and you was at school, because there was not a lot of responsibility and no need to worry, you was happy all the time, apart from when you stacked it on your bike and grazed your knee, then you would start crying. But kids are naturally happy until they get older, and then the worry and the pressures come in. It's sort of, happiness is not about adding more, it's about sort of remaining, or removing what's in the way. And what we'll be removing it is how we overthink, societal expectations, personal expectations, pressure that we put on ourselves, pressure that's put on from others, and our own anxiety. We're told not to worry, but how can we reduce this worry? And you can't just push worry away. It will always be there. It's just the case of shifting your focus, where You're more present. You accept what you can't control. And control is an illusion. And letting go of this illusion makes your life more freeing. Simplifying your life, you sort of, the stress comes from stuff that you don't need. We discussed last week where we have stuff that we don't need, sort of impulse buying, sort of hoarding and stuff like that. And when you sort of strip your life back down and you get rid of these things that are getting in the way sometimes, you realise that that's where the stresses come from, and simplifying it will just be so much more beneficial. In the quiet chaos, peace fills the space. And there's a peace in letting go. We think we have to do so much more to be happy. But the thing is, we don't need to sort of try and impress people. We don't need to fix what we think might be broken when most of the time, it's not. And we don't need to keep chasing these big gains, because we can be more appreciative of the small wins, the small gains, and the sort of small acts of joy and the small acts of kindness that we're giving and receiving to people. We just need to be. And in this state of being, in that absence of worry, we finally feel what's been there all along, which is the natural state of happiness.